What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliate and scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is Wednesday, July 12th, 2023, year of our Lord, and I am your host, Anton Daniels. I do not miss. I know I sound a little bit stopped up, but I feel better than I sound, and that's what's important. So as I continue to get over whatever this cold is, prior to us doing the meetup in New York, I want to say that I'm very, very happy to be before you guys today. And I'm very thankful, very, very thankful to have the greatest job in the world. And my job is to add value into your life every single day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Before we get started with the show, I just want to say that I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock out with me. I appreciate y'all. I switched up my sexy specs a little bit before we get started. We're going to get a little bit of the housekeeping out of the way. I know y'all love the sexy specs. I know y'all know Anton keep the freshest pair of prescription glasses on a regular basis. And let me give you a little bit of a preview of what they look like. Just a little bit of a preview. So we got them all around the rim. Gold all of my chains. Gold all of my rings. Then we got the Versace on the side. Gold all of my watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Nicka, don't believe me, just watch. You know, I'm a gold guy. I can't lie to you. I am a gold guy. And don't try to copy my style. It don't look the same on you as it look on me. You know what I'm saying? It don't look the same on you as it do on me, big dog. I look better than I sound, and I feel better than I look. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. Oh, man. Yes, they are transitional. Yes, they do have the anti-glare on them. We got all of the
all of the little details and nuances. It cost me a pretty penny, but you can't really put a price on what it is that you do and how it is that you feel and what makes you look good. You know what I'm saying? So don't try to go and get my style. You know you ain't seen nobody with these. You ain't seen nobody with it. It don't look good on you. It's only certain styles that look good. Listen, everybody in Detroit is over here wearing Cardis. I don't wear Cardis. It's not my style. Just because it's a Detroit thing don't mean that we gonna rock it. All right, listen, go get you a pair of Cardis. Go be like everybody else. Anton is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that y'all go eat that Teach Hanley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. The link is in the description. Also, I confirmed today the actual location where we'll be doing the meetup. So that'll be updated in the Patreon for y'all today. Because I am taking a flight out to New York tomorrow. And, you know, we're going to have a good time this weekend. So I'm more focused on getting my life together right now so that I can party hard. Because, you know, when I show up to the meetup, it be on. So I can party hard with y'all in New York. So all of the Patreon members and the bag chasers, I appreciate y'all for rocking out. Thank you, Teach Hanley. If you guys have not gotten your Teach pack, then you are doing yourself a disservice. Get rid of all of that other stuff. Get this good skin, get this good Teach, and then let's rock out, ladies and gentlemen. Also, I just want to encourage you guys. If nobody told you that they loved you, I do. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for continuing to rock out. We went with the rose gold root beer today. We got rid of it. Well, we didn't get rid of it. We just put it up. We put up the presidential. We went with the rose gold root beer today. So let me go ahead and give you the watch cam. I might have to get a watch cam. Watch cam, glasses cam. We went the root beer joint today. Classic. Rose gold root beer. Absolutely classic. We get it, man. We get it. So let's continue. Somebody said, "What happened in your IG live yesterday addressing her?" I said what I said, and then I removed it because I got off my energy. But there's no need me trying to capitalize off of it because that wasn't the goal in the first place. I'm gonna tell y'all honestly before we get into the show, I'm facing a dilemma, and that's kind of I'm glad you asked that question, and I'm gonna be reading super chats throughout the show. I'm facing a dilemma, and my biggest dilemma is I'm caught between a rock and a hard place when it comes to being a content creator and trying to navigate past evolving into the person that I'm becoming, right? So for example, actually, you know what? I'm going to save that because that's something that I want to address as it relates to this whole Boyce Watkins and Corey Holcomb situation. I haven't addressed the Boyce Watkins, Corey Holcomb back and forth because I wanted to see what the conclusion is going to be. But we going to get to it. So yeah, like I said, I'm a little bit congested, but I'm good. I feel better than I look and I sound. And we going to get to it. So make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Before we get to the Corey Holcomb situation, I got a lot of things that I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the Microsoft Activision deal. I want to talk about a lot of people are abandoning Florida and why. I'm going to get to that. I also want to address something that I actually agree with almost 100% with Umar Johnson that he had to say. And again, I want to talk about the Corey Holcomb situation and everything, but it's a video that I addressed a little bit on the Anton Daniels channel with a video that I dropped this morning, but I want to share the clip that inspired the video with you guys today. And then I want to get your thoughts. Let me just share this really quickly. And I'm going to play it really quickly. And I'm curious as to what you guys think about this.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. What's your secret you want to share with us today?
I've been married for over 10 years.
Okay, congrats.
She's been married for over 10 years. Okay. Y'all rolling with me on this one? The woman's been married for over 10 years. They calling into Angela Yee's show, which I don't feel any type of way about Angela Yee's show, but this is something that somebody sent me on Instagram today. But let's continue.
And I have been sleeping with my husband's cousin.
Oh.
She's been married for over 10 years and she's been sleeping with her husband's cousin. I just want to make sure that we all on the same page. This woman has been married for over 10 years and she's been sleeping with her husband's cousin. All right?
We've known each other for a long time before I met my husband. And I didn't know that was his cousin. And I got a kid by him.
Wow. So whose kid does your husband think it is?
His. He thinks it's his baby.
Oh, my God.
He don't know it's his cousin.
Wait a minute. So you have a child by your husband's cousin.
But your husband is
doesn't know
raising it as though it's his own.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
So
She has a child by her husband's cousin. And the husband doesn't know that that's not his child. And she's been messing with this guy for an extended period of time. And the husband is raising the child as though it's his own. Let's put this into context, y'all. Because a lot of people are always saying, Anton, why are you always holding black women accountable? They never complain about when I hold men accountable. When I kick men's ass, nobody got nothing to say about it, right? But here's the key. I can't trick you into believing that that's your child because you're the one that got to birth it, right? The reason that the responsibility is now more on the woman than ever is because you have the freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do. And I can't trick you the way that you can trick me. You could trick me into believing that that's my child. I can't trick you into believing that a child that's not yours is yours. This is not hard for us to understand why it's so important for you to keep your motherfucking legs closed. This is why it's so difficult for me to try to convince men to go and take care of a kid that's not theirs. Because this is wrong on all fronts. On every single front, this is wrong. It gets worse, though. Let's continue.
what does the cousin think about all this? Is he wanting to like reveal anything? Do y'all feel like coming clean, or is this to the grave?
No, to the grave.
So
He's doing what he gotta do for the baby.
Does the baby?
He's doing what he got to do. You said.
The baby, she looks like me.
Okay.
Ooh, honey, twin, honey. That's a twin. Look just like me.
Okay.
Well,
Don't
yes,
look nothing like
I was
him.
gonna ask if the baby looked like the dad or the
No.
cousin.
No.
And here's the key. Here's the key, y'all. This just gets progressively worse as we play this. This is going to get progressively worse as we play this, right? The biggest person that's going to suffer as a result of this is the kid. Because the kid then have to pay for the sins of the father, or not even of the father, of the mother and the cousin. The kid is going to pay for the sins of the cousin. And see, this is one of the reasons why I keep telling y'all, why y'all keep trying to grill each other about who's FBA and who's this and who's that. I guarantee you, it's a lot of people that's in this chat right now, that's watching this show right now, whose father is not even really their father, whose grandfather is not even of their lineage, whose great-grandfather is not even really their great-grandfather. You have a greater chance of surviving a car accident than you do of having an actual clean lineage based off of what it is that your parents told you. Y'all don't even know that your daddy ain't even your daddy and your mama ain't even your mama. Well, your mama is your mama, but your grandfather is probably not even your I know it's funny and I don't want to laugh right now, but I'm so serious. You don't even really know your lineage. You can't even really trace where you came from because everything that you was told is a lie. You know why it's a lie? Because just like she said on this podcast, she going down with the lie. She's going down, taking it to the grave.
How close is he with his cousin?
Close enough.
My God.
Close enough.
Do you intend to stay married though?
Yes.
Are you still sleeping? Are you still sleeping with the cousin?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It just gets progressively worse, right? It gets progressively worse. She's still sleeping with the cousin. The cousin is still finessing they relative and fucking on their wife. The woman feel comfortable enough to do this. She letting another man take care of her kid that's not even his, that she been married to for the last 10 years. Finessing. So she married and she got her husband in her phone as food. And then when he leave the crib, his cousin come over there and bust her down. If this is not the most evil thing that I've ever heard in my entire life. Now, my fellas know, the minute that they come up on my platform, I even think my guys are looking for correction when they come up on my platform because I'm going to be live streaming tonight. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be live streaming tonight. I think my guys know when they come up on my platform, they're looking for correction. They're looking for somebody. See, that's the thing. Women are looking to be validated. Men are looking to be corrected because they actually want to be right. In most instances, not all, men that come to me and they looking for advice, they know they're not getting away scot-free. And when they say this crazy shit to me, I'll be like, yo, fam, what you gonna do? You gonna get it together? You gonna get the character right along with the money? You gonna do this? You gonna do that? And I hold my guys accountable. But you know what I see right here? A lot of keying and a lot of haw-hawing, a lot of questions and not a lot of solutions and accountability being held. A lot of questions and not a lot of accountability being held. And so Angela Yee and whoever her co-host is, they think that this is cute. They think that this is funny. Listen, watch. I'll let her play the rest of it.
Yeah, that's how it look. All right. Well, this is not going to get any better, but if Maynard was here, Maynard would have lost his mind.
Maynard would have had a fit.
You're lucky he's not here.
Okay.
So y'all need Maynard there to hold y'all sisters accountable? I thought that y'all was all sisters. Oh, wait. Let me get this right. It's the men's fault, right? Yes, the meetup is still on, Black Beauty. I will be in NYC. It's the men's fault, right? It's our fault. Let me guess. It's our fault for even allowing her to open up her legs to the cousin that then have the kid and for her to continue to be getting bust down by the cousin, right? It's our fault that a man is paying for a child that's not his, believing that it's his. Meanwhile, for the last decade, his chick been getting bust down by a dude that he probably see on a regular basis. Probably got him in his phone as cuz, C-U-Z. And they keying and haw-hawing and having a good old time. Shout out to Jaquel and Bam Bam Lynch. I'm going to be reading those super chats shortly. You know, every time, and this is one of the reasons why I named this Unsure. Every time that I start to feel as though I can start to have a little bit more grace and not be so hard. This type of stuff comes across my timeline, and I can't ignore it. I can't ignore it because it's our cultural norm. And it's one of the reasons why this woman feels so comfortable calling into the show, kikiing and haw-hawing with Angela Yee and whoever this co-host is, because they don't feel as though there should be any level of accountability, and there's no accountability that's being administered to her for her actions. In every way, shape, or form, this is fraud. This is paternity fraud. This is humanity fraud. This is trafficking, finessing, pain and suffering, anguish, anything that you can think of, this is that. And you know what they tell us? Well, what you don't know don't hurt you. I had every single woman in the world in my inbox because I released a video on Instagram, a little short, that basically say, guys, listen, they made mistakes, they cheat, their problem is this. I want to institute a level of dick discipline in their lives, but I need y'all to be able to stick around with y'all husbands. This dude don't even get the choice. He don't even get the option. He don't even get the option to be able to decide what it is that he do and don't want to do. Y'all sit here and told me be honest with women because at least they'll respect you afterwards and they get the choice to do what they want. What choice did he get? What choice do he get? She's still getting bust down by this dude. Still opening up her legs. And what choice did he get? You know what he got? He got the bill. He got the bill. And it really don't even matter, do it, huh? It don't matter, do it? So you get the bill, take care of a kid that's not yours, but we need to make sure we fix these young kids for the black community. And then when I say throw the baby out with the bath water, I'm the bad guy, right? All of the same women that's in those comments that's saying, oh, girl, don't say nothing, take it to the grave, is the same woman that will be in my comments talking about who hurt you. You hurt me. You hurt me. I just want to start the show off like that because I'm unsure. I'm very much unsure of how to address these issues, problems, or even who to hold accountable anymore. I want to be loving. I want to be peaceful. But every single time I get taken right back to the thug streets. Neither here nor there. Let me read a couple of these super chats and then we're going to get it popping. It's going to be a great show, y'all. Shout out to Bam Bam Lynch in the building. Says, are you going to do the Adam 22 story cucking? I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm very much. Y'all let me know. Do y'all want me to do that? If y'all want me to do the Adam 22 story, I can do it on the other channel. Maybe at a different time or something like that. But I don't know. I really don't know if I want to even address that because it's so disrespectful to how it is in the institution of marriage. I don't know. I'm very much on the fence about that. But let me know if that's what y'all want me to address and I'll tackle it. Jacquel says, greetings and blessings. Glory be to the Lord God. Your Versace specs are fire. Taking an allergy med before bed will boost your defenses. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you for that. Thank you, Jacquel. Thank you for the suggestion. I don't know. I left the house because I needed to get down to the studio today because I said I got to do my show from the studio. Rita like, you're too tired. You need to be getting meted up and medicines and all of that other type of stuff. I said, nah. I'm hitting the streets. Shout out to Jadice. Says she living her truth. Facts. Lockhart Perspective is in the building. Says, that's how you end up on a 6 o'clock news. Shout out to the Lockhart Perspective in the building. I appreciate you. John Wick is in the building. Says, I've noticed rappers used to rap about using condoms back in the day. Pocket full of rubbers. And my homeboys do too. Yeah, because we don't love them hoes. That's what they used to talk about. Now it's the opposite. Rappers now think raw dog, cool culture is trash, and it's not. It's absolutely garbage. It's hot garbage. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, John Wick, for holding me down. Brian Smith is in the building. Says you can deny your husband the truth, yet tell the world. It's a horrible space that we live in. Thank you to everybody supporting the platform. Let's go ahead and get into the show. It's going to be a fire one, as usual, like we always do about this time. And I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Shout out to Mike That Dude for the early Cash App. I appreciate you, big dog. Let me also see if I got any more I need to address right now. Shout out to Tommy. Tommy sent the 20 ball and said, for these hoes ain't loyal. I agree with you, Tommy. These hoes is absolutely disrespectful. Shout out to Tommy for the 20 ball. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly, Chike Auto LLC. But let's get into the show, y'all. So, I've been paying attention to what's going on here. I have. And one of the reasons I've been paying attention to what's going on here is because I'm trying to learn for myself. And sometimes the lesson is best taught by observing how other people handle it, right? And Boyce Watkins and Corey Holcomb has been in a spat of sorts, right? It started with Boyce Watkins. He obviously viewed a clip on Instagram, and Boyce Watkins commented on it, and he basically said, met Corey Holcomb in person, something to the extent of didn't really care for him, energy was bad, or something like that, right? So he started it. Corey then goes in and say, what made you even bring my name up? Look at how you proposed. And then he started going in on a picture in the video in which Boyce was on a knee with the fanny pack. Shout out to Marriage, Politics, and Sports. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Giving y'all the cliff notes so I can bring y'all up to date on what's going on. Then Boyce felt some type of way about Corey Holcomb addressing him, since even though Boyce started it. And he started talking about how, basically, why are y'all idolizing these entertainers and these people that ain't even really a reflection of what we would want to be in our society? Disrespecting women and all of that, right? And then it just cyclical, back and forth, right? And so I guess it all came to a head yesterday or last night when Willie D from the Ghetto Boys, he has a really huge platform. I think he's approaching somewhere like 900,000 subscribers on his platform. Brought them both together because apparently he's friends of them both. And apparently there was a truce that was called. But I want to play a little bit of that, and I want to get y'all thoughts on it. All right? So, again, hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. If you have not tapped into the Patreon, we are doing a Patreon meetup this weekend. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm going to be updating that today with the location that we're meeting at. All right? I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of that video. The part, because I only skimmed through a little bit of it to get the gist of it. But I want to play a little bit of the beginning. So you guys can understand what's going on. Again, make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. This is a special edition of Willie D Live. Corey Holcomb and Dr. Boyce Watkins will be joining us.
We're going to go ahead and move straight over into where he brought them on the line.
I want to bring you guys up to speed on how we got here. It's perfect. I appreciate both of y'all, coming on to the show and having this conversation, because I'm going to tell you something. It's a very needed conversation. Now, ain't none of us perfect. A lot of times when you see us on these platforms and we doing our thing and we have
I'm going to speed it up a little bit, y'all.
One person disagree with one thing. You can disagree with one thing that a person got to say, and next thing you know, this person is the Antichrist. So, but my point is that I know both of you brothers, and there's something good about both of y'all that made me befriend y'all. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I probably reached out to both of y'all. That's how we became friends. You did, because I saw something in each of y'all that I thought was cool as hell, and we became friends. And I'm just as close to both of y'all. I'm just as close to Corey as I am to Boyce. And so it really hurt me that y'all was going at it. Even though I could have nipped it in the bud and deleted that message, I gave my reasons for why I didn't. But this is what I want to know. Since Boyce, you kicked it off with your comments.
So let's just bring you up to speed again. Willie D said he friends with both of them, and so he's bringing them both on in order to squash this because he's just as close with Boyce as he is with Corey Holcomb. All right. Now he's asking Boyce Watkins, why did he start this beef in the first place?
What I want to know is, what did you think was going to happen if you? What did you think was going to happen dropping that comment about Corey? And on top of that, you said you didn't like him, but I also know that you are a fan of Corey Holcomb. Like,
I am.
What was going on in your mind?
It was mixed feelings, man. I'll start from the beginning and say, it sounds contradictory to say this, but Corey's one of my favorite comedians, actually.
I know this is a truce. I know that this is supposed to be a good thing. I scrolled through the top comments and everybody always say, yeah, this is good for the culture, people working together, the whole 9 yards. But honestly, man, and this is the difficulty for me, right? This is literally the difficulty for me. You can't throw shade and insults. Shout out to Just Dixon. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. You can't throw those level of shade and insults and then lead with, well, Corey is one of my favorite comedians. How? It doesn't make sense to me because everything that Corey Holcomb jokes about is literally the difference between a you and a him. So you're laughing at the very thing that you're against because Corey Holcomb, somebody said it in the chat, is rooted in that dark humor. He gonna call chicks bitches. He gonna call dudes niggas. He's gonna talk about your baby mama, how she for the street, she swallowed the whole thing and all of that. Then all of it is the complete opposite of the thing that Boyce stands for. Good or bad, whatever it is that you believe, it's the complete opposite of what it is that you stand for. So don't come on here talking about I'm your favorite comedian after you just said that what you said about me in the comments. And I'm gonna be honest with you. And one of the reasons why I believe in my heart that it's disingenuous, regardless of whether or not they piece it up and truce it up, one of the reasons why I believe it's disingenuous is because Boyce avoids me like the plague. But then you know what he does? He jumps on different clips that people take of me, and then people tag me in it, and he say little dumb shit about me in it. And so people don't see that part. They don't see the comments. He say something stupid like, why would you listen to him? He look cross-eyed. What? You know what I'm saying? Like he say shit like that. And he type it in the comments. And then I guess he don't expect for you to respond or see it. But what you don't understand is that the internet is going to do what the internet do. And so it's going to send it to me. They going to make sure I see it because they know. And so, the minute that you be wanting to be like, all right, listen, I'm going to let him breathe. I'm going to let him get his, do his thing. I'm not going to put no pressure on what it is that he's saying and stuff like that. The minute that you start to be cool, he say some dumb shit to reignite you. And it be like, you conflicted because then people be in the comments and they be like, oh man, why y'all don't work together as black men? Why y'all can't build shit up? Well, that's why. Because it's like, yo, you throw shots and then you hide your hands. You know what I'm saying? He say dumb shit like that. I'm telling you, he say stuff like that all the time. Man, listen, y'all think I'll be capping. Y'all think I'll be lying, man. Y'all think I be lying, man. But let me play a little. I'm gonna play what he had to say.
I like the honesty. You know what I mean? And I think that particular comment triggered me a little bit because I'm very protective of Black women in general. You know, I think that I feel like there's a lot of guys online, man, that just say things, man, that are not helpful to women and children, man. And I think that definitely triggered me. And I have to be 100% honest and say that when the time that I did meet Corey, I can't say I got good energy. But he's right. I didn't say anything about it at the time.
What is good energy? What the hell is good energy? Did the dude disrespect you? Did he give you dap? Did he look you up and down? Did he slap your chick's booty or something like that? Like when I see guys talking about good energy and then they hold that shit in and then they wind up going back and using that as ammunition to be able to comment or say slick shit in the comments and stuff like that. Man, that's some female shit, bro. Shout out to Demetrius. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. That's some female shit, man. What do you mean good energy? You want us to fix your chakras? You want us to get some singing bowls? What do you mean? The time I met him, it didn't seem like good energy. Did he spit on you?
And I think that over time, it's allowed me to kind of process who I am. I'm a fighter. You know what I mean? Like I do that. And you've been caught in the middle of other times, man, where like when I went out to Houston and we were talking about Kwame Brown and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And so it's a mix, man. It's like sometimes you're supposed to keep your mouth shut and not say everything, but then sometimes you just say it. And what happens is that it can sound like you have one feeling about a person when it's usually mixed. There's not a single person that I can think of that even people I admire the most. I admire Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X more than anybody else. But if you was asked me to really tell the truth about what I think about them, I could find negative things to say, right? So it sounds contradictory to people for me to say Corey's one of my favorite comedians. When I found out you and him were such good friends, that made me respect him more because I respect you, and also it led me to accept the fact that I probably misjudged him based on that one interaction. And for that I do apologize because I don't think that was appropriate.
Right, that's big. And shouts out to Kwame Brown, man, good dude.
And you know what the funniest part about this is? As I go back through it and I look at it, I look at the video that I was tagged in that people brought to my attention that he said some crazy shit about. You know what the funniest part about it is? Shout out to Psychedelic Sense LLC. I appreciate you for the Cash App. Thank you for holding me down. I really, really appreciate you. He deleted the comment. He deleted the comment, man. You know what I'm saying? To try to make it seem like he never said it or anything like that. Either he deleted the comment or he blocked me. Hold on, let me see something. He might have blocked me. Yeah, I think he blocked me. Yeah, he blocked me. That's why I can't find the comment. Because I responded to him and I'm like, yo, who the fuck you think you talking to, bro? Hold on. Let me let it play a little bit more.
Corey, how did you hear about those comments that the boys made?
Well, the gossip police is everywhere. The gossip police, you don't duck nothing on this internet. You say something, it's gonna get back to somebody, even if you're the type of person who think you can ignore stuff that people bring to you. Because I tell my friends, don't tell me about something bad that somebody said about me on the internet. But it's coming. If you say something, it's coming, especially if you.
He got deleted from Instagram. He got kicked off of Facebook and Instagram. Somebody just sent me a DM that said that. That's what happened. Yep, you're right. Atriu. Yeah, he lost his Instagram. How did Boyce lose his Instagram? I don't want nobody to lose their Instagram. I don't wish bad on nobody. He lost his Instagram. That's why the comment is missing. I get it. Let me hear what Corey got to say.
Somebody who people watch. The information will be delivered into your ear one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I want to say this, Willie. When you called me about everything that was happening, I kind of stopped you while you was talking, and I said we should do this on air. And the reason I said we should do this on air, because I am aware that there are literally a lot of young people in this world who have no idea how to de-escalate things. So that is the main reason I said, yo, let's do this on the air. Because that's what I said, right? I was like, let's do it on the air. I think it'll be good for the culture. I mean, we all are old enough to de-escalate something. And like I said this when I was talking on the internet. I don't take stuff like that personally, because everything we put on the internet belongs to the game. It belongs to the game. Willie D, any picture of you on the internet, Mr. Watkins, any picture of you on the internet, anything we do, like proposing, whatever we do on the internet, it belongs to the game, and it'll be dissected by the game. Whether it's good things people say or it's bad things people say, everything we do is going to be dissected. That's why I'm glad we did this like we're doing it right now.
I'm so surprised, honestly. And one of the things that I think that's happening right now is I think that Boyce Watkins may be going through a little bit something, simply because he did get kicked off of Facebook. He did get kicked off of Instagram. And I know that is a huge source of revenue for a lot of people, especially using that as a funnel to continue to get people to join your groups or book your sessions or, build revenue and relationships from whatever it is that he's selling or whatever like that, right? And so he's begging the system that he's bucking against to give him back access to the things that he actually is saying that black people should not be on in the first place, right? Think about that for a minute. They always against the system. Black culture, black this, black that. We need to have our own and all of that, so on and so forth. Well, then what the fuck you doing on Mark Zuckerberg's apps and applications? And why are you begging him to be back on an application, right? If it's so black, then why don't you go ahead and use your millions, because you're a millionaire, right? That's what he say, to go and build your own platform. I just so happen to like white people. I like all people. I evaluate people based off of an individual character. Why are you trying to beg them to get your platform back if you don't give a fuck about them? Shout out to Antonio Watkins, relative of Boyce. But I am surprised at Corey. I'm surprised at Corey. We got 1,400 and up and going up. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. We got Corey and up that is willing to call a truce. And I don't know if it's just because he's rocking out with Willie D, but Corey Holcomb seems to be one of those type of guys that is going to be relentless. Once he smells blood in the water, he goes all the way in. And I'm surprised, and I'm trying to figure out, because I can't understand for the life of me why Corey acquiesced to the idea of calling a truce, and he didn't even start the issue, right? But let me hear a little bit more, and then we're going to go on.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's positive.
Yeah. And the thing is that both of you guys, all three of us, we all are outspoken, right? Like, we don't bite our tongues, we don't mince words. And, when things like this, happen, what tends to happen oftentimes is people pick sides. And Boyce, you are a leader in our community. Corey, you are a leader. I'm a leader. Everybody is a leader in their own right, even people who are not famous. We're all leaders in our own right. Even if you're, I won't say just, but even if you're a bus driver, you're leading somebody, whether it be your children, your wife, the kids, or kid on the bus. We're all leaders, and none of us are perfect. And so I think we have to get over the hump of looking at each other and with such a close microscope and thinking that we have to be like our ideas have to always align perfectly. Like, overall, I think if we care about, if we have the same objective, and that is to advance our black community, if same objective is to give information and instructions so people can navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world in the right way. Hey, I'm cool with that. I don't think that any of us I think that we have to stop holding each other. I think we should hold each other to a high standard, but not to a standard of perfection, because none of us are perfect. I know for a fact I'm not perfect, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm telling y'all right now, y'all can come back and play this later, but I'm gonna do something really, really fucked up soon. I don't know when, but I'm gonna do something. And I'm just letting you know right now, I'm ready for it, because I know I'm not perfect.
Right, good. I'm glad you said that, Willie, because you did something messed up, if you ask me.
Is that right?
Yeah, it ain't nothing bad, because I trust my instincts when I meet people and when I talk to people. So I really think that you are definitely one of them roses that grew from the concrete. I believe that sincerely. And but I do want to tell you this, Willie. Listen, bro. I have an identity where people think more on the negative side sometimes of me when they don't know me. But let me ask you something. Willie D, have I ever been in your presence and done anything that you would consider?
Thank you, Charles. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly.
Consider foul? Because if you do, I really want to know.
No.
I was very impressed when I met you, because I didn't know who you were. You Willie D of the Ghetto Boys. You know, I'm inclined to physically whip your ass. I was like, oh shit, who is this motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? When you got
Corey must have woke up on the right side of the bed. That's all I can really take from this, is that Corey clearly woke up on the right side of the bed. Because I've never actually seen, or maybe I just didn't see it live, Corey ever call a truce or make light, especially when somebody is coming back at him.
Up on me, I didn't know. But as I was around you, not from one time, but from multiple times, I was like, oh shit, you know, this Willie D is actually a stand-up dude. So what I'm saying is, bro, if you know me to never do nothing around you that was foul, it kind of broke my heart when you took up like for Boyce in a way. Like you said, I was talking about his wife, and I was just making fun of the of the picture that is on the internet that has been dissected before me. Like when I brought up the picture, I didn't have a one where it was they had the words on it. I don't know if you saw that. But you called me and you was like, yeah, man, people saying this, that, and the other. And I was like, oh, shit, not Willie D. Okay, so I'm saying, this is what I'm trying to say. I feel like you, in my opinion, Willie, you jumped to Boyce's side instead of, well, what you doing on the phone now, you proving you're not jumping to Boyce's side. But at first I was shocked and hurt because I felt like you was jumping to Boyce's side like, oh, that old goddamn Corey Holcomb, he a bad guy, and he out here doing something else again. But it's not like that, Mr. Watkins. I'm saying, I said on my show, I'm not mad at you. I just took the opportunity after you said what you said to stab at you. But it's not like, oh, fuck that nigga, I hope he died. I got more love for you, Boyce Watkins, than I have for my baby mama. If you see what I'm saying. I don't even know you, Boyce Watkins, but that bitch ain't about shit. But what I'm trying to say, I'm just speaking for real because we all around each other. I
see a lot of manufactured laughs right now, but go ahead.
Understand why a Boyce Watkins would be shocked at first when he sees me from some of the things I say. But Willie D, you one of the brothers who I expect to carry that bridge over to let people know, yo, man, I know Corey. Corey is not about fuckery. Now, I say some things, and sometimes people may have some bad.
You know, I'm going to say this. Look, I don't take a lot of stuff personal, man. You know, I don't give a shit. Like, you know, I know we threw some shots back and forth and whatnot, man. And I think I can still sit back and say, I think you are a brilliant comedian. You know, maybe we don't agree on everything. I will say, obviously, as with my integrity as a husband, I have to say that I'm fair game, but my family's not, right? You know, my wife didn't do nothing.
And I agree with that. That's the one thing, the main thing that Boyce and I agree on. And it's context to this, and let me add the rest of the context. The main thing that I agree on with Boyce Watkins is that he's fair game, but his wife and kids are not. Now, the caveat to that, though, is that if you're talking about, Boyce put up a video of him proposing, and the video was cringe. So it is fair to react to the video that you put up, because just because we're addressing you and your proposal that was cringe, and your wife just so happened to be in it, doesn't necessarily mean that they're talking about your wife. They talking about you and how it looked like she was resistant to say yes, and she didn't really want to kiss you after you had your fanny pack on and you went jogging and y'all did the proposal. It was a cringe proposal. You know what I'm saying? So the caveat to that is the video that people were talking about was funny as fuck, and your wife just so happened to be in it of you embarrassing yourself. Okay? That's the caveat to it. But I do agree with Boyce Watkins in that there should be lines in which that's the difficulty in the internet, is because you can't control what other people do. Even though you may have, rules of engagement and war, there should be lines that's not crossed. But Corey Holcomb did not talk about his wife. Corey Holcomb did not talk about his wife. Corey Holcomb talked about what Boyce was doing as it relates to the picture of the wife. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. I think that you leave other people out of it, and if you want to go at that person at they full game because they're a content creator, you go at them, right? I would never, I don't know, just throwing some random person out. There's no point never going at Kevin Hart's wife. You know what I'm saying? Now, if Kevin Hart's wife decided to get on a platform and she gave her opinion on something like a Tia Mowry, then yeah, you can start having an opinion and a reaction to that content. But I don't see any point in going at the other person that just so happened to be collateral damage from the person that you're reacting to. You know what I'm saying?
Wrong, but for the record, she didn't take it personally either. She don't, it's like we know what's true and what's not. So when Willie and you and I talked, we joked about the picture and have people like taking a picture and reading all this shit into it. And you and I both know we would, I wouldn't marry a woman who's doing some shit like that, and you wouldn't even have no parts in that, right? So it's not.
And that's cap, because that's exactly what you did. You married her.
I'm not offended by any of it, right? And I will say this too, Corey. I don't feel like Willie was taking sides. I feel like when it got to the point where other people were kind of involved in the conversation that didn't want to be involved, whether it's Willie, my wife, or whoever. I feel like that's when it
Somebody said Corey talked 100% about his wife. I didn't hear him talk about his wife. The part that I heard, he was talking about Boyce specifically.
Got to the point where I was like, okay, now I'm getting very upset, and I don't want to feel that way, man, because the bottom line is I got enemies in this world. As a black man, I got a lot of enemies. Corey Holcomb is not my enemy. And if that means I got to, apologize for what I said, which if that struck you in a certain way, I'm sorry for that. And also,
and see, this is the problem, man. That's not an apology. You can't say, if you felt some type of way about it, I apologize for how you feel, or I apologize for how I made you feel, but I don't apologize necessarily. That's not apologizing for what you did. That's not taking true accountability and responsibility for what it is that you said that then ignited this in the first place. That's not an apology, man. You can't say, if that made you feel a certain type of way, I apologize. That's not an apology, bro. And see, this is why I'm so unsure. This is why the name of this show is called Unsure, because I'm so conflicted half of the time of whether or not you just want to keep it moving and you don't want to have a conversation about it anymore, or you want to go ahead and hit execute order 66.
So one thing I've learned, man, over time, and I like what you said earlier about the fact that, we're all over the age of 40. So we're supposed to be setting an example of de-escalation and whatnot. I'll go as far as say, like, I want to be cool with you, man. Any friend of Willie's is a friend of mine, because you and I both, one thing we have in common is that we've known Willie for years, and we know that he's a solid guy. So anybody that he says is solid, it's like, hands off, I'm done.
I'm all for the de-escalation. This is disgusting to me, honestly. It's just disgusting to me. I'm all for forgiveness. I'm all for apologies. I'm all for de-escalation. Kudos to Boyce Watkins. Kudos for Corey Holcomb for burying the hatchet and realizing that this is not actually going to generate any more money. It's not going to make any more revenue for anybody. Nobody is going to benefit as a result of it. If they don't see any benefit from it, if it's not something that they can capitalize off of, then cool. Go ahead and bury the hatchet. However, I don't want to be cool with niggas, man. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be cool. I don't want to collab. I don't want to start having a conversation. I don't want to link up when we in the same city. I don't want us to go to dinner with each other's wives and girlfriends. I just don't. I don't think that you got to work with everybody. I think you got a limited amount of time on this earth. And again, kudos to them for burying it. If they didn't see any value in it, then cool. But for me personally, I would just rather just go ahead and move on and go our separate ways. And we don't even have to have a conversation going forward. Shout out to Bino Co. I'm definitely going to be reading that super chat. Why we got to be friends? We can say, you know what? Cool. I'm not going to talk about you. You're not going to talk about me. Let's keep it moving. And, I even tried that tactic before, and it didn't work out. I tried that tactic. It just didn't work out. Right? Even when it came to, all right, listen, we just going to be above board. You can say whatever you want about me. Just don't say anything about my wife. Or I'll say something like, yo, let's just, listen, you don't mention me, I don't mention you, so that there don't be no blood in the streets or whatever. And that junk don't always work out. It just don't always work out. People still say shit, and then you be the bad guy when you execute Order 66. So for me, honestly, I am conflicted about a lot of things because, in my opinion, I am very, very, very at odds with how to operate now that I'm on the cusp of moving to the next level in my content creation, in my life, what it is that I'm building, the direction that I'm going. And my wife often at times say, Anton, it don't really matter. They ain't changing nothing. They're not affecting the bag or whatever. Let's just keep it moving, right? But then I'll be thinking to myself like, I'll be thinking to myself some of the worst things that could possibly go wrong with them, not with me. Because I come from a space, where I was raised, I was ready to die for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, the city where I'm from, you go all the way. Like, the only person that loses is the person that stopped driving forward, right? So we just gonna crash. But obviously, I know that that's not the best thing for us. That's not the best example to be able to set. So I just try to be above it. And honestly, the best way for me to handle it is that I just got to completely ignore some things, because when I go, I just be wanting to go all the way. So neither here nor there. Let me go ahead and read these super chats, and then we'll move over into the next thing. Shout out to Chike Auto LLC in the building. Says, please don't do Adam 22 and a wife need deliverance, 100 days fasting and praying. Shh. Tell me about it. That Adam 22 is just straight up disrespectful. Shout out to Marriage, Politics, and Sports in the building. Says, the most important angle that really matters with the Adam 22 story is their complete and utter disrespect for the institution of marriage. I agree. I don't understand why get married if you're going to be out here operating and moving egregious like that. I agree. Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Shout out to Just Dixon Incorporated. Says, I support you, Anton. Keep doing your thing, brother. Thank you, my friend. I think this might be your first super chat. Is it? If it's your first super chat, let me go ahead and give you a round of applause. Thank you for the 20 ball. Thank you for holding me down, and thank you for supporting me, my friend. Jay Tay with a couple of different super chats is in the building. Says, Boyce don't want no problems with Corey, and he's smart. I don't know. Boyce was acting like he wanted all of the smoke with Corey. He was responding. He was going back and forth. Shout out to JP. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Let me go ahead and knock out these super chats. What else we got going on out here? Jay Tay also says, Anton, would you ever interview Officer Tatum? I think that Officer Tatum is awesome. Shout out to Officer Tatum. I love his content. I love what he's doing. Yeah, I would be open to interviewing Officer Tatum. I think that Officer Tatum's content is dope. He's a conservative. He gives a great points of view, and I've never heard him say anything that I actually disagree with, which is one of the first things. Shout out to Demetrius Coleman in the building. Says, if he's one of your favorite comedians, then why would you put it on the internet? Very calculated, shaking my head. There's certain people that you just don't even go after. Like me personally, I know where my limits are. And I know, where, like, for example, I don't really go after comedians. I might react to their content. But comedians is of another ilk. They're of another cloth. So, you got to pick and choose, your battles carefully. And so he picked Corey Holcomb. I can't believe he picked Corey Holcomb. He picked the most disrespectful dude to be able to go after. Shout out to Demetrius Coleman. I appreciate you for the super chat. Marcus Majors is in the building. Shout out to Marcus Majors. Says Boyce and Willie Dum Dum are hypocrites at best. Shout out to you. Charles Martin, the negotiator, is in the building. Shout out to you. Says the Willie D is pushing a lot of word salad. Antonio Watkins is in the building. This bag chaser, no relation to Simp Watkins. Boy, Simp Watkins. Shout out to Antonio Watkins. Bino Cole is in the building with the 10 ball. Says, hit that like button and show some love. I appreciate you, big dog. David Williams. Shout out to David Williams. Says, keep speaking the truth and shining a light, boss. I appreciate you for the 2 ball. Jadis. Shout out to Jadis. Says, nope, this ain't High School Musical. We not all in this together. And JP is in the building. Says, AD out here giving Ciabatta a crazy super chat. Shout out to Ciabatta Mitch. My offer still stands. And we can iron out the details, but Ciabatta Mitch is, for those of y'all that's not familiar, I watch a lot of different content on YouTube, and Ciabatta Mitch is a Madden player. He largely considers himself the Madden god, the number 1 Madden player online. And he does a live stream where he's doing Madden. And so I think that he's very, very entertaining. I think he's awesome. But I'm just wondering if when he ready to graduate from playing with the babies for $25, $50, $75, $100 a game, might even be $200 a game, $300 a game, to where when he ready to run with the big dogs at 10 bands. 10 bands. I don't play video games, but I got a young bull for him, and I'm willing to bet 10 bands on my young bull. I don't play video games, but I do like to wager a little bit to see where it tests people's temperature. And so I got a young bull that said, yo, I can wash him, Ton. I said, oh, you can wash him? I said, all right, we put 10 bands on it. Let me know when you get your sponsors up. Your sponsors is right. Shout out to Ciabatta. I think that he's a great YouTuber. All I'm saying is, when he ready to put that bag up, 10,000 on me. We could do it for 10, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Or we could do 10 bands a game, however you want to play it, right? All I'm saying is, when y'all ready to play with the big dogs and y'all got y'all sponsors right, y'all let me know when y'all ready to have that conversation. All right, we can get the contract signed. We can do it in person. We can do it online. However y'all want to play it. I got my young bulls ready, and I got, me, 10,000. 10,000 to me is like $10 to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we do. Shout out to Ciabatta. Shout out to Bada Bing in the building. He was very entertaining last night. I like to watch Bada. He's entertaining. Also, shout out to Jay Hunter Lee. Jay Hunter Lee is in the building with the 5 ball. Says, brother AD, always good to see you. Hey, apologies are useless if the person didn't learn anything that brought him to apologize to begin with. Facts. All right. So shout out to you, Jay Hunter Lee. I appreciate you. Thank you to all of the super chats. I'm going to be reading them throughout the show. Before we get to the other shit, I want to go ahead and talk about Florida really quickly. All right. I told y'all, and I've been telling y'all for a long time now, and I really doubled down last month when I broke this down, because I seen a lot of people trying to run over to Florida. They was buying property. I'm in and out of Miami and Tampa practically every single week, right? 3-4 times a month. I'm flying back and forth. I think that Miami is a playground for the people that really have resources. Tampa, they had some of the most beautiful women that I've ever seen in my entire life the last time I went there. Got a lot of business going on there, but I would never invest in real estate in those spaces. And it's a reason for it. But every single week, it seems like It confirms what I've already believed, and I've even changed a lot of people's perspectives. A lot of your favorite YouTubers start changing their tune, and it was like, you know what, I'm gonna pull out of Florida after they watch my content. They don't want to give me the credit for it, but yeah. But let me go ahead and give you some insight on what's going on. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Within the past few minutes, I got this letter. It's from the state to the insurance company. The insurance commissioner says he's disappointed and troubled by this decision, but as of right now, it looks like nothing is going to be done to stop it. Twice last year, Florida lawmakers passed sweeping property insurance reforms. The reforms were meant to stabilize the market and keep insurers in the state. But they're still leaving. 8 on Your Side has confirmed Farmers Insurance is not going to renew roughly 100,000 auto, home, and umbrella policies. A spokesman tells me the move is necessary to effectively manage risk exposure. Michael Jaworski is Florida's insurance commissioner.
Do you know what that means? Risk exposure? Risk exposure? Do y'all know what that means? That means that they don't think that they can make money in Florida because of all of the different hurricanes and the climate change and the warming of the temperature. And so they don't think that it's a good market for them to exist in because they would be too far underwater and having to cover the policies after damage happens to a lot of the properties based off of a model that they have within the company that assesses risk. This is the second in less than a month of another insurer, a major insurer. Farmers Insurance said that they're completely pulling out of Florida altogether, which is basically leaving you with one option, in which that option is going to be absolutely egregious as far as how much that they're raising rates. I've already talked about this last month. They're raising rates over 14% year over year. And so you're not even going to be able to afford the insurance that goes along with being able to live in Florida, the flood insurance. Let's continue.
In charge of policing insurers. His office has declined interviews, but in a statement they say they'll work closely with farmers to ensure consumer protection. And if you get a non-renewal notice, contact your agent immediately to seek alternate coverage. The question, when, if ever, will the reforms help homeowners?
So we've always said it's going to take 18 to 24 months.
Former State Senator Jeff
Y'all hear me over here suffering? Y'all hear me over here suffering? Getting tissue and stuff, having to get off camera in order to do this show for y'all. If y'all don't get the motherfucking likes up, Anton is over here doing a show with a stopped up nose and voice be almost out, and I'm over here cooking up for y'all, giving y'all what y'all need in order to make smart decisions financially. Get the motherfucking likes up, bro.
The reforms. While in office, he pushed for many of these changes. Brandis says he expects 3 to 5 more companies to exit.
Insurance looks back. It doesn't look forward. There is still a ton of uncertainty in this marketplace. Investors are still very, very cautious about putting new capital to work in Florida. And that's why companies like Farmers are pulling out.
Florida's chief financial officer, Jimmy Petronas, is not pleased. Before Farmers made it official, Petronas tweeted, quote, "If that's true, my office is going to explore every avenue possible for holding them accountable." So we did ask what the CFO intends to do to hold this company accountable. His words, and we are waiting to hear back. Now,
I want to share something with y'all really quickly, right? Because basically what this means, when insurers leave, it's a sign. When insurers leave, it's a sign that you need to get out of the market. A lot of people are always only paying attention to the comps. They paying attention to the real estate prices. They paying attention to what people are getting on the Airbnb market. They paying attention to what travelers are doing, what the economy is doing, if it's roaring, and so on and so forth. But all of the things that you should be paying attention to as an investor is completely different than what everybody else is supposed to be paying attention to. So, for example, right, when I look at Chicago, I've never, ever, ever been a fan of Chicago. Now, it has nothing to do with the crime, has nothing to do with the fact that it's ran by stupid mayors or anything like that, right? When you look at things from a business perspective, you look at the intangibles, right? You look at the return on investment. If I put money into this, what is it going to cost me? I think that it's stupid. Even if you're living in some of the best areas of Chicago, to buy a property in Chicago. You know why? Because not only are you paying income taxes for the state of Illinois, and shout out to Leonardo, not only are you paying income taxes, because at least in Florida you don't have to pay the income taxes. Not only are you paying income taxes for the state of Illinois, but they have some of the highest property taxes in the fucking country. Have y'all seen the property taxes in Chicago? In the Illinois area? It's insane. It's insane. Out of control. The first time that I had ever heard of the property taxes and what people were paying in Chicago, I was appalled. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he actually happened to be a manager of a very, very, very big name rapper. And the manager had a property in Chicago, and he was like, Anton, let's look at my property taxes. I'm like, what's your property taxes? How much did you pay for the property? And he told me the price, and I'm like, okay, well, that's reasonable. And then he told me the property taxes, and I was like, what? What are you talking about? So it's so many other factors. When you're talking about all of the insurers are leaving Florida, that's a red flag. Listen, in my opinion, and I'm not telling you what to do, I'm telling you what I would do. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly, Kenneth. If I were you, my goal at this moment would be to take all of my profits. If it were me, if I had property in Florida, if I owned property in Florida, I would be looking to do a 1031 exchange, or at the very least take my profits and move them elsewhere, right? It doesn't mean you can't live there. I just wouldn't own anything there. Don't mean that you can't enjoy the winters there. It just, it's other ways for you to be able to get that write-off and have that as a business perspective. And you need to do an evaluation of how long you need to live in a specific state in order to be classified as a resident there, and going from there. Is no reason ever why I would ever, in my personal opinion, and I love Florida, but I would never invest in it from the real estate perspective at all. But let me play this part of it for you.
When Brittany Huey and her husband sold their Florida home 2 years ago and put all their stuff in storage, they thought it would be temporary. The family of three moved in with Brittany's mother, hoping to save for a bigger house.
We wanted to sell, take advantage of the equity that had grown in the house over the time that we had owned it.
They hope to move out in 2 months, looking for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home in the $350,000 to $400,000 range.
I could tell you right now, not with those property taxes. Before
reality hits.
Our ultimate goal was to find that upgraded home that allowed us to grow our family, and the increases in rates and having to account for homeowners insurance and so forth, we've really had to scale that back.
In the aftermath of destructive hurricanes, the cost of home insurance in Florida has increased 100% since 2020.
100% since 2020. Do you know how huge that is? In an increase of 100%. Let me play that again for y'all, for the people in the back that just missed it.
100% since 2020.
Homeowners insurance in Florida has increased 100% in 3 years. 3 years. And that's a cost that a lot of y'all can't stomach to bear. You can't bear that cost? Who can deal with that? Y'all was just complaining at the price of chicken wings at the grocery store. And when I say inflation is across the board. And so when people, they hear these inflation reports, because an inflation report came out today, right? And they see what the cost of inflation is, and then they'll give you an inflation report based off of all of these other factors. But they're taking in the totality of everything that's happening across the United States. And it's offset a lot of times by what's happening in this state versus what's happening in your lifestyle, right? So I'll give you an example. A lot of times we look at, well, what is the average income of this man or this black man? They say, okay, well, it's $47,000 a year is the average income from a white man or a black man or whatever, so on and so forth, right? But that number is severely skewed because it also factors in all of the billionaires, and then it factors in all of the people that ain't making zero, right? But the billionaires, these 7 billionaires will completely skew the numbers up so significantly that it's not really telling you what the real cost of you living that lifestyle or what you're really making or what the average cost or the average amount that the American is making in this particular city, right? So if you say, well, okay, well, inflation over there in Michigan is X amount for your lifestyle, okay, well, yeah, my property taxes increased a little bit because the value of my property went up and, you know, I might have a different lifestyle, and you decided to finance a car at 17% interest in order to satisfy people that don't give a fuck about you. So your inflation is much different than mine. And then him over there, he lives in Florida, and his insurance rates has increased 100% since 2020. So the inflation of what it is that he's paying on his life versus the raise that he got on his job, which was only 6% over the last 3 years, and then they gave him a hiring freeze and they gave a rate increase freeze, it's not the same. Inflation on your life is much different depending on where you live, what your lifestyle like, et cetera, et cetera.
Since 2020.
It really is putting a crunch on what buyers can afford to buy, where they can afford to buy, or even for some of our sellers, they're looking at leaving the state to find something more affordable.
The insurance industry says...
And then you know what happens? The same thing that happened with California. So everybody, the prices of property skyrocketed in California. The Californians then took advantage of it because they said, listen, we're never going to be able to get a better deal than we got right now. So they sold their house for $1, $2, $3, $4 million, right? And then they took that money and they went and bought a property over in Texas, Florida, so on and so forth, Las Vegas, you name it. And so what they did was they raised up the prices of property because they all flooded markets that wasn't ready for the instability or, quote unquote, the gentrification that came with Californians and New Yorkers moving over into their city. And so now what's happening in Florida is people are taking the profits and the prices that they can get sold at this moment, because I think that it's going to be a bloodbath for people in the future over in Florida. And they're going to take that money, they're going to move to other states, and they're going to do to other states what Californians did to them. And so what happens is you start to see this trickle-down effect of I would say mismanagement of California is now going to affect people over in Indiana. Because the displacement of people in Florida and Texas is going to spread throughout the outer parts of Texas and then other states where people can't afford to live in Florida anymore, right? And so a lot of people, they think that what happens in California don't mean nothing to them, and so they shouldn't care because y'all just keep and staying whatever is happening in California. No, it's not Gavin's problem. It's going to be your problem because you're going to have to deal with whatever it is that happened in California as a residual effect of how people moving away from California, and then this eventually they're going to come and displace you. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, are you truly prepared for what happens in California that will eventually affect what it is that you got going over there in your little small city of what you got happening? Because I'm going to just tell you, Boise, Idaho, and Rhode Island, and Michigan, and Birmingham, Michigan, and Nashville, Tennessee, all of these places experienced a boom in people moving over there because of the displacement of the people that they originally came from, because they were all looking to move into a place that they can afford. Eventually, there is nowhere else to move to. You got to blow it all up and start all over.
It's not just the weather, but that fraud and litigation are why home insurance premiums have skyrocketed in Florida. According to the state's Office of Insurance Regulation, while Florida accounts for 9% of homeowner insurance claims in the U.S., it also accounts for 79% of all property claim lawsuits.
The struggling insurance market here in Florida has been burdened with litigation issues for years. Homeowners here are paying the highest premiums in the country. And as hurricanes grow stronger and more costly, the crisis is reaching a breaking point. Is the insurance market in Florida right now working the way it is?
It's not at peak efficiency right now. I think it's been hobbled by the number of storms that have hit. I think it's been hobbled by the legal environment.
Florida recently passed legislation to address the crisis, but
none of it is a magic wand, unfortunately, that's just going to heal Florida's home insurance market right now. This is going to take a couple of years.
Since the start of last year, more than 20 home insurance companies in Florida have either stopped writing new policies or gone out of business.
Since the start of last year, if more than 20 insurance companies stop writing policies and decide that they want to pull out of the market altogether, and at best, they're just going to finish the policy out that you already paid for in order to ensure that they don't have to give you no refund or give you no money back, that should be a red flag. That should be a red flag. If you guys are not paying attention to the signs, don't worry. I'm going to bring you back to the front of the congregation a little bit from now when we actually see what the fallout turns out to be. If more than 20 insurance companies are pulling out every single day since the start of last year or the start of this year, I'm telling you, you need to be careful. Do not find yourself on the bad end of this stick. All right? That's all I wanted to do. I want to warn you. I want to share this with you. I want you to be okay. And in order for me to do that, I got to give you the information. And I'm going to beat this into your head because a lot of people think that they know a lot of things, but very few people are paying attention to what's going to happen 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. And that's how we go about investing, right? We don't invest based off of what the current circumstance is. We invest based off of where we predict things are going to be long term. And so we have to pay attention to the signs and the context clues. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm looking to meet a lot of y'all this weekend in New York. Let's work, ladies and gentlemen, all right? Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to continue over with the show. Shout out to Fi Brown is in the building. Says, yo, Anton, I'm like 30 minutes behind in the show, so I won't see this live, but I'm just showing love. The new glasses is absolutely fire. Can't wait to link with you and the Bag Chasers this week in NYC. Can't wait to kick it with my people in Fi and NYC. Looking forward to tapping in with y'all. We city to city, state to state, baby boy. I'm one of the only content creators that's going to show up on your block. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Fi Brown. I appreciate you. Leonardo Trout says, do you feel the same way about buying property in Orlando, Tampa area? I do. I think that eventually it's not just Southern Florida. I think that most of Florida is going to be displaced. All of my money and all of my property is going up in the Midwest. All of it is going up in the Midwest. So, Leonardo, I am not going to invest in Florida at all. At all. I took a ride through a lot of what was happening in Tampa, in the outskirts of Tampa, in Brandon, and Lith. Is it Lith or Lilith? I went all around, and I seen Pulte homes, and they was throwing up homes like cinder blocks. They was building them homes so fast, faster than there wasn't nothing else around them. They was buying up the farmland, displacing all of the horses and cows, and just building homes and building and building and building and building and building and building. And there wasn't nothing else around it but a bunch of homes. I was like, not me. Shout out to Kenneth Percival in the building. Says, top of the morning, Big Coach NY meetup. Yep, this weekend on Saturday. Given a location this afternoon is Lithia, Rita. Shout out to Rita. She know it's Lithia. Shout out to Lithia. Yep, NY meetup this weekend. I will be there. Your favorite content creator is going to be in the building. Hyman is in the building with the suggestion. Says get, what is that, Neomed Rinse Kit from Amazon plus 50 milligrams of zinc in you with food. Yo, if it was up to y'all, my whole body would just be one big medicine, one big piece of medicine. Yep. Shout out to Real Estate Jay Jones is in the building. I appreciate you also, big dog. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Let's move over into the next thing. My favorite person to react to. My favorite person. Actually, I had 2 different videos that I could have chose from with Umar Johnson, and I decided to go with this one. Tony Williams, I'm going to read that super chat shortly. Thank you, my friend. I decided to go with this one because Umar Johnson decided to address specifics as it relates to relationships. All right? Somebody sent this to me. They sent two of them to me. And I said, all right, well, I got to choose between one, so I'm going to choose this one. Shout out to Tony Williams. Shout out to Twisted Up TV. I'm going to be reading those super chats shortly. Let's go ahead and get into the video and see what the good doctor, is talking about.
Somebody being fresh, they sent me an anonymous picture of Cinnabons. Who sent those Cinnabons? Cut it out, ladies. Cut it out. It's too late for that. Need that chicken noodle soup. So, let me see. Sister said her son's father just confessed that he is bisexual.
Very few things, though, I advocate that it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to work through as an individual. Very few things. Now, I know that there's going to be individual cases that this needs to be solved for. But here's my question. Before we get into Dr. Umar's response to this, how do you know if you are married, the only person that you're sleeping with allegedly is your wife? How do they then find out that they're bisexual? Except for to be experimenting on the side with somebody that they shouldn't be with in the first place. How do they discover? How do you even open yourself up to the possibility that you're bisexual? Just don't make no sense to me. I don't understand these new relationships. I don't understand the Adam 22s. I don't understand y'all open relationships. I don't understand how y'all discovering stuff. It's weird. But let's hear what the doctor got to say.
Sister said her son's father just confessed that he is bisexual. My dear sister, if your son's father confessed that he is bisexual, you have to end the relationship.
Facts.
It is too dangerous for a heterosexual black woman to be sleeping with a man who sleeps with other men.
100% facts.
Herpes virus. Herpes is very high in the gay male population. HIV AIDS is very high in the gay male population.
Shout out to Atlanta. Shout out to the ATL shouting. But one of the reasons I could never, ever, ever move to Atlanta because the culture is just not aligned with where it is that I stand on my moral compass. Nothing that the good doctor is saying right now, and you know that I have a lot of pushback for a lot of the different things that the good doctor says, nothing that he's saying is off base. I'm objective, which means that I'm able to say and identify when somebody is telling the truth and call a spade or give credit where credit is due. It is nothing that he's saying that is off base right now.
Not to mention shingles. Shingles is very high in the gay male population.
I did not know that.
So although you might love him and care about him, and I'm glad that he was honest with you. I'm glad he was honest with you because he didn't have to tell you that. So respect to the brother for being honest. But my dear sister, your health is more important than that relationship. You still have to co-parent your son. You still have to co-parent your son. You still have to co-parent your son.
I'm not a fan of even the co-parenting. Listen, I'm not a fan of women breaking up their households. But the thing you have to start asking yourself is, because now we in a different zone, we in a different time. And again, I don't disagree with not one word that the Dr. Umar Johnson is saying right now, except for this one last thing that he just said, is that you still got to co-parent your son. Never in my 41 years on this earth have I ever advocated for a woman breaking up her household and a man not being able to have access to his kids. But the question that we have to ask ourselves is, with this new information and the new way in which people are moving, what do you want your kid to be influenced by? I don't look at it as bisexual. I just look at it as gay. You know me. Either you are or you're not. Either you are or you're not. I've never advocated not one time have you ever referenced or seen me advocate for a woman to be able to break up her household. But then the question then becomes, what are you being co-parent? Because now when he goes over to your house, what is he being influenced by? I don't know. I don't know how to navigate around this. I don't know how you normalize this. I don't know. Because, again, the kid is the person that suffers as a result of the decisions of their parents. So on one hand, you got a kid that's now going to probably be raised by a single mother if she go with option A, which is fight everything that she can for that kid to be influenced by what's going on over the father's house. But on the other hand, let's say you got a co-parent, right? But then you got to worry about how your kid is being influenced and what's being normalized in their life by the father that's saying that it's okay to be this way. What do you do? What do you do?
And maybe y'all want to continue to live in the same house while the son is young because we don't want him to go through the trauma of parental separation. We don't want your son to go through the trauma of parental separation.
But what's worse?
So if y'all need to stay in the same house, I can understand, but you cannot. And I hope, my dear sister, that you are not giving him the privilege of anal pleasure. I hope there was no rectal
Anton had to disappear.
Activities going on in your bedroom.
Anton had to disappear off camera for that one.
Black women, first of all, that's not a normal form of intercourse. We got that from the European, first of all. First of all, we got that from the European, okay?
Is that true? I had to disappear off camera for that one. Jesus Christ. Is that true, y'all? I'm not familiar with the history of it or where it came from and all of that other type of stuff. Is it true, and how can we prove that? DK said a gay father is better than no father. Maybe the father teaches his son that the lifestyle isn't something to copy. That's a lie. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. DK, I disagree with your assessment here. You said a gay father is better than no father. I disagree with it. I disagree. I disagree 100%. I'm gonna leave it right there. I disagree 100%. I don't know where they came from, but let's just continue.
Okay. Your rectal is not a part of the sexual pleasure system. You understand me? But we done got freaked out and turned out by the colonizer. We done got freaked out and turned out, and we didn't turn the rectum into a recreational space.
I agree, Jamal.
We have turned the rectum into a recreational space. My dear sister, I hope your rectum was not a recreational space for your bisexual baby daddy. I hope not. And I'm not playing either.
This is wild.
Because your rectal is a direct route to your bloodstream. That's a direct route. That's why babies get a lot of their vaccinations from the back. The reason babies get vaccinations from the back, it go right into the bloodstream. So if you letting that man visit you from the back door instead of the front door.
I am familiar with the history of buck breaking. I see y'all in the chat talking about it. But I'm like Jamal said, I'm pretty sure that people have been putting it in the wrong hole since the existence of people. I don't think, for some reason, it's hard for me to substantiate that white people invented putting it in the wrong hole. Because then we have to say Asians been doing it and Hispanics has been gotten it from white people too, right? Come on, y'all. I don't believe I don't believe that they was the first ones to ever do this. I don't think you could ever trace it back to anybody, to be honest with you. I genuinely don't think that you can trace it back to anybody. But I think that he's 100% correct on this whole thing as far as what you shouldn't do in the back door.
And I don't know why a black woman would let that happen anyway. But if you letting a man visit you from the back door instead of the front door, you are opening yourself up for all types of diseases. We have to eliminate the excess perversions.
I agree with him.
Women letting men run trains on them.
I agree.
First of all, I don't know what would convince a man to go right behind another man. I'm trying to.
Yo, this outside of the video where he talked about Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, I agree 100% with what he's saying right now. I agree 100%. When I was younger and in high school, and they would go and get gosh, I wish I could say the names. They would go and get them a little yamp. Y'all know what a yamp is? A yamp is a West Coast name. Got that from my partners over there in Oakland. And then I had a homie that was over here from San Bernardino. Shout out to my homies over there on the West Coast. Y'all know what a yamp is? They used to call him a young tramp. And I never understood trains. And I'm not talking about trains, planes, and automobiles. I'm talking about choo-choo. I never could understand trains. Because in my mind, first of all, I'm not about to be busting you down in front of a bunch of other guys. That's gay to me. Second of all, I don't want you if anybody else can have you. I'm selfish like that. Third of all, I'm not going second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh. I can't do it, big dog. I'm not built like that. Yeah, Chris, we call them bustos here in Detroit. You right. I never, ever understood the concept. And I just wasn't built like that. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stay in my nerd phase and my lame phase. I'm going to go ahead and stay in my little lane. Go play Xbox Live. I'm chilling, bro. I'm not built for that. And I know there's some people in here. Listen, we got 1,400 people in here right now. I'm not personally built for something like that. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm 100% in agreement with the good doctor right now.
Understand this. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm missing something. But why do I want to go?
100% facts.
Why do I want to go slide? Why do I want to go swimming in a pool that's already been polluted with your DNA? Why do I want to do this?
Facts.
Why do I want to follow another man, 2 men, 3 men, 4 men? I don't understand the turn on. Somebody got to educate me.
I don't either. I'm 100%
And
in
for
agreement.
the black woman, why would you let multiple men condom or no condom, why would you let multiple men
I just can't understand it.
enter you on the same day? I don't understand.
It's wild. It's wild. Somebody said they can't imagine Anton playing Xbox. Oh, plenty of broken controllers. Plenty of broken controllers have slid across the room and onto the wall. I done probably spent a few $1,000s on replacing controllers in my day. Plenty of broken controllers. I was a sore loser when I lost. I felt some type of way. I'm just not built to be sliding after another dude. That's why I'm selfish. I think that body count matters. I think the whole thing. If I see another people can be able to get access to you, I'll be thinking to myself, I'm not even sure I can hire you. I don't even know if I want you around me as an employee. You easy like that? Man, that speaks to your character, in my opinion.
But that's what happens when you let the Caucasoid brothers and sisters.
Sometimes Umar Johnson be right.
We got to get back to traditional African values.
Sometimes he right.
We got to get back to traditional African values. We got to tone it all down. Just take a step back and tone it on down.
I agree with him, and I think that a lot of what we see in the society today, to be honest with you guys, is we've been over-sexualized and desensitized. And it's one of the reasons why I don't watch Norp. Y'all know the other word, the PORN word. I don't watch it. I can't do it. It's one of the reasons why I don't believe in masturbation. I genuinely don't do it. Because I don't want to be desensitized. I don't want to open myself up to things that I wasn't even interested in the first place. I live this phenomenal life in this little cage in my mind already. We good. We good over here. We not missing out. Let me say what my grandma said to me. Honey, you're not missing out on nothing but the devil. I don't look at prawn. I don't look at prawn. I'm not missing out on nothing but what I don't know. I'm not missing out on Narop. Is it Narop? Narop. What I don't know, it doesn't mean anything to me. This is one of the few things that I think that you need to keep exclusive within you.
See, the reason some of us are so unhappy, we have the unhealthy, demonic energy of past partners.
Agreed. 100%.
Still infesting our spiritual life. What if the energy of every partner you ever had in your life is trapped within your auric field?
He is 100% right. I cannot believe that I'm saying this. This is why body count matters. It's because I'm going to break this down tonight. I'm going to break down body count in ways that y'all never thought that I could break it down. You can't unsee what you saw. And all of that energy, and a lot of us don't actually believe in spirituality and principalities, and you don't believe in a God or the devil, and you just think that you got here by the Big Bang, and then you just going to go and into existence and not exist anymore. You don't believe in aura, but it's funny. You believe in it when it comes to intuition. You believe in it when it comes to reading people. You believe in it when it comes to being able to sense whether or not somebody is on some negative type of shit or not. You believe in it when it's convenient for you, but you don't believe in that energy when it comes to getting fucked on. He is one. I can't believe that I'm saying this with no objection and no pushback whatsoever. When you have a lot of people before you, and I know that they want to going to tonight's conversation and all of them is saying that body count don't matter. It matters. Who you open yourself up to carries with you that energy, the spirit within them, how you see sex, how you understand people. It goes along with you with whoever it is that you go into next. He's 100% right.
What if every man you ever slept with, woman, his energy is still trapped in your auric field?
He's
Black
right.
man, what if every woman you ever slept with, snow bunnies included, their spiritual energy is still trapped within your auric field?
He had to throw the snow bunny thing in there. I'll be careful to wash my hands after I shake so many hands. The first thing I do when I walk in the house, when I come out of the airport, is I wash my hands, I take all of my clothes off, and I get right in the shower. I can't bring that into a lot of y'all just go and y'all jump straight into the bed from being outside and in the streets and stuff like that. I don't get it. All of that dirt, grime, energy, negativity, all of that shit stay with you in your bed. And every time you get out of the bed, you get back in. Some of y'all don't even clean y'all sheets as often as y'all should. You don't wash your sheets. You don't disinfect and spray what it is that you got going on. You don't wash your hands as soon as you get in the house. You go in the house, you open up the refrigerator, or you grab the remote control. You piss. You don't wash your hands when you leave the bathroom. And all of that negativity and energy, that junk stays with you and it carries with you into your home. And you can't figure out why you waking up toe up with a negative disposition towards life every day. Is because you need to cleanse your home. And this ain't even on no chakra type shit. This is just on some regular wash your hands, get in the shower, get that negative energy off of you.
I know that's why a lot of black women are angry and nasty. I can tell you that right now.
He's
got
right.
Demons swimming in your vagina.
He's right. He's one.
Demons. Demon semen. Oh, yes.
Peter Investor, I got you.
Demon semen. Oh, yes. She got demon semen swimming in her womb. And you went swimming
right after
without a coat. Lord have mercy.
Right after.
You went into a black hole that's polluted with demon semen and you didn't even strap up. Lord have mercy.
And the worst part about it is, because a lot of dudes just go, they see it through and they don't put on no rubber or nothing like that. You know what the worst part about it is? Yo, one time I walked past the women's restroom and I smelled the women's restroom from outside of the restroom, and I couldn't believe the smell. I couldn't believe the smell that was in that restroom. I walked past the women's restroom. The women's restroom, 9 times out of 10, when you go to if you walk past, let's just say, for example, I got to go use the restroom and then my wife got to go use the restroom. Her description of the women's restroom is 10 times worse than the men's restroom. Her description of the women's restroom is 10 times worse than the description that I would have of the men's restroom. It's egregious. And y'all see it through? No rubber. No rubber.
Lord have mercy. Forget the sexually transmitted diseases. What about the spiritually transmitted diseases?
Facts. And he's so right.
Forget the sexually transmitted diseases.
He is 100% right.
What about the spiritually transmitted
100%
diseases?
right, y'all.
See, one of the reasons I don't date black women who have been with snow puppies. I do not date black women who allowed a non-African male to violate.
Now, this is where he off. And let me tell you why, Doc. Let's say you was 100% right. How would you ever know? Because these women is chameleons. And by the time that she get over to you, she gonna tell you what you want to hear in order for her to get whatever it is that she need to get up out of you. Don't you know, Dr. Umar, that by the time that woman get over to you, that she already know what to say to you in order to get you to do whatever it is that she wants you to do? If she been with a snow puppy, do you think that she would tell you?
their solar system. Your vagina is your solar system, your yoniverse. Your yoniverse.
All right, he losing me on that. He losing me on the yoniverse. He could be true, could be false, but he's definitely losing me on that. However, my point is that he is 100% spot on, and that when you give yourself over to people who don't actually understand the value of what it is that you have between your legs, you then open yourself up to a lot of different things that you don't even know is going to carry with you for the rest of your life, including the diseases, including the spirits, and including how it is that you ultimately see men when you get into a new relationship. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to move over into the next thing. Because I got one more thing that I want to go over with y'all before we move on. Shout out to Tony Williams in the building. Said, totally off subject. What kind of backpack is that? Where? What do you mean? What backpack? What backpack are you talking about, Tony? Talking about the backpack that I'll be rocking? I don't know if I should say. I might have to tell you in a separate text message what kind of backpack I'll be rocking, because they not sponsoring me. And so they don't have to get that bag up if they want me to start talking about what kind of backpack that is. Oh, he must be talking about something previously. Shout out to you. Twisted Up TV is in the building. Twisted Up TV says, I've completely divested from buying property in Cali and now buying property in Indiana. So you taking my strategy, huh? You taking my strategy, huh? All right, Twisted Up TV, smart man. Razik is in the building. Shout out to Razik. Says, why is the new H1V? Yeah, I said it. Shout out to Razik in the building. Levite Apparel, I appreciate you for holding me down. Says, yes, in the black community era, most Caesars, and is it the BC era? Oh, okay, before Christ era. Most Caesars or Grecian had both male and female partners or chose strictly males. Lady Raven is in the building. I appreciate you, Lady Raven. Says Sharita Daniels. That's a shout out to Sharita Daniels for being a phenomenal wife. Hold on, we're going to go ahead and give her shout out to Lady Raven, especially for the 20 ball, and giving a shout out to Rita. I appreciate you. Married to Politics and Sports is in the building. Says, I have discussed this energy transfer from men to women is like filling up a capacitor. That energy has to dissipate. Umar, most have heard me. LOL. Now, I done told y'all, marriage, politics, and sports about using all of these big words on me. Giving me all of these extra syllables and soliloquies. All right. Talking about a capacitor. That is more than 3 syllables, marriage, politics, and sports. Now, dissipate is not more than 3 syllables, but I get it. I'm using my context clues. Y'all know that I'm a C student. C, not C minus, not C plus. I am a C, lifetime C student. Y'all gonna have to be careful with me. I'm gentle. Junior Hall and Objective Hustler. I'm gonna be reading those super chats shortly. But I want to get into the business. I want to get to the money. Honey, that's what my wife would say. Honey. If I say, what we talking about, that Monday? She said, honey. Shout out to Rita. She not here. I want to talk about the business side of it, right? And I know that a lot of people is not interested in the money side all the time. They want to know how the money comes back down to the business. But I want to go straight into the business. And for an extended period of time, Microsoft has proposed to buy Activision. For what? For how much? 59 or 69? I think it was 69. 69, how much? How much y'all think that they was proposing to buy Activision for? Not 69 million, 69 billion. With a B. Billion. Now, why are they then fighting the FTC, especially over in the UK, right? Well, because they don't want the competition. And again, This is why we call them monopolies, because they don't want there to be a monopoly on a certain aspect of business that then affects what their competitors can do in order to be able to compete against them, right? And so $69 billion. Let's just go ahead and round it off to 70. $70 billion. Now, how does this make sense? Why would Microsoft, for those are the people that don't understand gaming and things like that, now, why would Microsoft be at risk of a lawsuit or being blocked by the FTC of being able to buy Activision, who makes the games Call of Duty? Yes, some of y'all are in the gaming community and you understand Activision Blizzard and making Call of Duty games. Well, it's because different aspects of your business do different things that then feed into the profitability and the long-term strategy of your company. So let me break it down for you. For example, Microsoft owns Xbox. Simple enough, right? Call of Duty and Activision games are not platform specific, not platform exclusive. That means that a lot of games are available for PC, Sony, PlayStation, Xbox, so on and so forth. Because the job of the gaming house is to make as much money as possible by being able to spread their seeds and sow their seeds across all different platforms. Right? You with me so far? So, here's the key though. Some titles are exclusive to specific platforms because they're developed in-house by that particular platform. So, for example, Halo. Halo is a game that originally was exclusive only to Xbox, right? But the worry is that as Microsoft and large companies that can then depend on the profitability from other parts of their business in order to then leverage that money to buy up and then consolidate different parts of the industry, it would then create a situation that then eliminated the competition. So if you had less access to less games, you would be more incentivized to move over into a different platform versus playing on the same platform that you were playing on because the game is no longer exclusive to your platform. And so that was the fear. The fear was that Microsoft would then be able to leverage how much money that they're making in order to overcompete in industries such as gaming, and then Activision is one of the spaces that they feared. And so in order to prevent a monopoly, they tried to block it. But guess what? Microsoft won. But let's get into it. That's to give you the cliff notes. I want to break this down from a financial perspective to you guys. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
We do have some breaking news to get to. I think Steve Kovac has that for us. Steve?
Sarah, yeah, Microsoft has actually won the case against the FTC. This was for the FTC was seeking that preliminary injunction, blocking the deal. The judge has denied that preliminary injunction, meaning Microsoft, at least, will likely try to go forward here in the U.S. to buy Activision for $69 billion. We have lines out to the FTC and Microsoft to talk about.
Kid Call says, I love you, big dog, but you don't know about the gaming industry or the market. How don't I? How don't I? How don't I know about the gaming? Listen, you think that white man that's sitting right there that's having a conversation about what was happening with this upcoming fight is with the FCT and Microsoft knows more about me than the gaming market? Listen, homie, I knew more about the gaming market before you was fucking born. Before you was born, I was probably playing Xbox Live. I knew about the exclusive titles. I knew about the competition. I knew about the gaming wars. We know that Microsoft has largely conceded in saying that the gaming war has already been won as far as the market share of who was going to go to what platform. As a matter of fact, the real war was never even here in America. It was overseas. Because Sony is a Japanese company and they've largely been embraced by their demographic. I know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about as far as the industry. And if you want to debate me about this on some financial shit, we can talk about it. You think that this white man with these glasses understand the market better than me as far as the gaming industry and the market? Listen, Sony is not even a gaming company. Sony is a camera company. The majority of the profitability that comes into Sony comes from selling their parts over into other companies such as Apple. This fucking iPhone right now, all of these lenses, these are Sony cameras inside of this iPhone, right? You think that Microsoft actually cares about the profitability of gaming? They don't. They're leveraging their cloud infrastructure in order to continue to take over a market so that they can bring you into their ecosystem. You think it's about gaming, and it's not. It's not about game. You think that Apple really gives a fuck about Apple Arcade? They don't. It's to bring you into the ecosystem so that you then purchase other products. When you go into Walmart, let me cook y'all for a minute. Because y'all don't really understand money. Anton, you don't understand the gaming system. Why? Because you play Fortnite all fucking day? You play Fortnite all day and you think you know. Okay, so let me give you the game. I'm going to break it down from a C student's perspective before we let the white man give it to you from a technical perspective. When you go into Walmart, you know why they got groceries? You know why they got groceries? They don't have groceries because the grocery aspect of Walmart is profitable. It's a loss leader. It's some of the slimmest margins on profitability with regard to groceries, and they don't specialize in that. And so as a result, they use it as a loss leader to get you in a store to then become a part of their ecosystem and possibly buy other things that's much more profitable. They want you over there buying bed sheets, toilet paper. They want you to buy school supplies. They want to be the one-stop shop for you, which is one of the reasons why it's so difficult for them to be able to survive in some of these markets in Chicago, is because these people are not going over there and spending money where they're supposed to while at the same time tearing up the fucking grocery store. Microsoft doesn't look at Xbox as an opportunity to really capitalize from a financial perspective because the majority of their money in which they generate comes from outside of that, right? But what they want to do is they want to get you within the ecosystem. They don't look at Sony as an opportunity to be able to compete against Sony for the players, right? When a car company, right, uses a Halo car to get you in the door, what they're hoping to do is to hope that you have brand loyalty to then become a part of the ecosystem. When you join Apple, right, when you get Apple Arcade, when you get into Apple's cloud infrastructure, people don't understand that Amazon, Microsoft, iCloud, Google, they all have different cloud strategies, right? And so when you're having this conversation and you're saying, well, why would Microsoft buy LinkedIn? Why would Microsoft buy Activision? You're not seeing the bigger picture. And this is why you can't have a conversation with motherfuckers that don't really understand money. They don't understand the huge opportunity that comes along with it. It's not about buying Activision. It's not at all. It's about buying market share to then absorb the players that is a part of a specific ecosystem in order to figure out how they can leverage other products that they're using and building in order to make more money long term. It's not about competing in gaming. It's about competing for a customer to be a part of their ecosystem. Let's continue.
What that means. But one other aspect here is this is not over, Sarah, because the CMA, the regulatory authority in the United Kingdom, is still going over this case. They're not expected to have a hearing on this until the end of the month, which is past the July 18th deadline. So there's still a lot of questions, Sarah, about how Microsoft can button this deal up.
We need some. All right, Steve, thank you. Steve Kovac, seeing the reaction in Activision shares up 4.3% or so. Want to get to David Faber, who's joining us on set. He's on the phone, of course, with sources. But clearly, this was a surprise.
Gaming is $1 billion industry, but it's literally just a drop in a bucket for what Microsoft produces from a profitability perspective. It's $1 billion industry, but it's a drop in a bucket. A drop in a bucket.
At least, David had been reporting that.
Hey, and then he says, I'm a developer. You must be new here, sir. You literally must be new here.
Sort of moving this way and through the courts, but you can see the relief in Activision shares there. after that UK decision, didn't look like it was going to happen.
Yep, there had been so much momentum for those who argued that this was going to be a difficult deal to pass, certainly within a certain time period. Steve Kovac gave us the basics, David. Tell us what we need to know.
Well, listen, we have said from the very outset that it was a tough case for the FTC to prove, and they did not seem to have done it in court. Certainly when you listen to the testimony of the witnesses, read the transcripts, of course. I wasn't in the court itself, but I did have a number of people who were there. The FTC, they felt, had not fully proved the case, of course, and it was a tough case for them to prove, at least with the existing law, in terms of, is this really going to prevent competition for those who own the hardware, so to speak, and will they control the games that they develop themselves and not allow them to be used on other platforms? Call of Duty, of course, being one of the key ones, and Sony being certainly the name that was mentioned most often by the government in terms of perhaps being somehow disadvantaged. It's a big loss for the FTC. It's an important victory for Microsoft. And, of course, the question that we have now continues to be the ability of this company somehow, as it goes back to the UK, where we've remained focused all along, as we've said, that has been considered the major impediment, given you've already had the competition committee, they're the CMA in that country, say no to this deal. That is being appealed to a tribunal.
iPhones have Samsung parts, they have Sony parts, they have their own developed parts, they have their own chips, they have a lot of different parts from a lot of different manufacturers. Apple does business with everybody, and so does every other phone company. That's not the conversation. I see y'all in the chat, but anyways, let's continue. Here's the key. Microsoft wants to get this deal done immediately. Microsoft wants to get this done. Now that they've had the judge strike this down and where they don't have any barriers, which, again, you have to understand that we're in a global market, right? It's not just as it relates to what's happening here in the United States of America. This was struck down in the UK, which then incentivized Microsoft to hurry up and get this deal done in the United States. Now, the fight isn't over completely, but it's pretty much over. It's pretty much over, right? And so what you see happening now is that this is a key victory, which is one of the reasons why Activision stock is going up significantly, right? This is a key victory. And so as a result, Microsoft is going to try to get this deal done immediately. By next week, I believe that this deal will be done. By next week, I believe that this deal will be done. Let's continue.
But there have been these weird, and I have no other word to use, conversations, I guess, about the idea that Microsoft somehow can figure out a way to close this deal prior to the expiration of the current merger agreement, which is only a week away. How that would occur. Which
is one of the reasons why Microsoft is incentivized, and I believe that they've been working on this deal for a long time in anticipation that the judge was going to rule this way. The expiration of the original agreement of this merger is set to expire a week from now, which is one of the reasons why it's very, very much in their best interest to get this deal done. In both Activision's shareholders' best interest and Microsoft's best interest to be able to get this deal done as soon as possible. And so when you're paying attention to these things, it's so many nuances and so much context, timelines, and different things that's going on. You can't just say, oh, well, they're looking to buy Activision. Well, what is the date of the expiration of the original agreement, and how does that tie in to when the judge ruled, right? Let's continue.
Occur is very much unclear to me. It's something, obviously, you got to make more calls on. Now that we have clarity on the FTC losing this case, it will put a lot more focus on that CMA process, Carl, and the hearing that is supposed to take place where they are going to try to argue the procedures that the CMA followed were faulty, which would have the effect, if they actually got agreement from the tribunal, of sending it back to the CMA.
It's remarkable, especially when we know that the initial window for close was, we thought, long at the time. Little did we know how much time they would need to get this thing over the finish line. The other thing is avenues for appeal on the part of the FTC.
Yeah.
Still exist?
They do. It seems hard to imagine. Again, I haven't read the opinion, so we rushed on here, obviously, with this news that they would not grant the injunction to stop the deal. But I want to read the opinion. I want to get a lot of people's who are even more studied in this stuff than I am to sort of weigh in. But, I think that's not expected, and that's not going to stop Microsoft from closing the deal, because, of course, they can. If, in fact, they do figure out a way to deal somehow with the UK, or perhaps, again, then they won't close around the CMA, so they're going to have to extend their merger agreement, which, of course, requires a renegotiation with Activision, which is going to argue that it deserves more money because its business is in a better place than it was when this deal was announced back in December of 21. That remains a key question as well. So any number of moving parts, including, of course, what continues to be the opposition of the UK and the ability of Microsoft to how they navigate that.
I wonder if it has bigger ramifications, too, beyond Activision and Microsoft, the FTC. Now, for a lot of companies want to challenge them now, right?
We've talked about this a lot on our first hour, Sarah, with Jim. There is no doubt that this is a blow for the FTC, which has been a very aggressive agency in trying to not just stop certain deals, but also chill the overall market as a result of taking on deals that were really not thought to pose a true anti-competitive threat, at least is the way that we've interpreted antitrust law for a very long time, namely starting with consumer harm. And so this will be a key question.
Horizon.
Horizon, Amgen, and this one, of course, being two of the key ones, the largest ones that we think of. We'll still see about Pfizer, Seagen, which may well get a second request, even though they refiled. This will definitely be a blow for them. There's no way around it for Lina Khan, for the FTC. Does it mean that it really will embolden a lot of companies that have been thinking about doing deals but have been halted in part because of the concern about antitrust? Well, maybe, but maybe not, because the fact is time is also the key thing you look at, not just whether you will ultimately win in court, but whether you're willing to go as long as it would take to get to that point.
So, I'm going to bring up an article for you guys really quickly. Give me a second. I'm waiting for, I dropped the link for somebody just in case he wanted to come up.
Oh, wow, remarkable
Give me a second.
bit of news.
So I want to share this with you guys really quickly. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull it up. 1 second. Just getting things. I'm gonna be reading super chats shortly. Oh, if you want to come up, you're more than welcome to do so. But this is not new news. But I will share it just for you guys in order to substantiate my argument, because this is something that I've been paying attention to for a while now. So this is a Fortune article back from May 5th, 2023. Right? This is a Microsoft executive. And quote, he said, "We lost the worst generation to lose. The console wars is over," right? He goes on to say, oh, shoot. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Give me a second. Let me see if I can pull it up. 1 second. I'm not a subscriber to Fortune magazine, so you got to give me a second to be able to pull this up. One moment. I don't see the kid camming up, but it's okay. This is the article, right? It said Microsoft conceded defeat in the high-stakes video game console wars for the first time, admitting on Thursday, and again, this is back in May, that it will never, ever be able to catch up to Sony and Nintendo. All right? It goes on to say a chastened and downbeat Phil Spencer issued what appeared to be a brutally honest 40-minute mea culpa in which he even implied his job was on the line after a series of self-inflicted blunders. In the interview with an Xbox community YouTube channel published on Thursday, he said that it was an illusion to think that exclusives like the hotly anticipated Starfield would cause Sony players to switch allegiances. That's because 90% of the gamers are already committed to their existing consoles, according to Spencer. This is largely understood within the industry. The strategy is completely different. Even the executives at Microsoft has already admitted, which is one of the reasons I tell y'all need to understand what you're investing in, and don't just buy these companies based off of people that think that they know gaming. It always comes back to the money. And so Microsoft and even Sony has already understood that whoever it was that picked their sides, usually when you see somebody that roll with an iPhone, they never switch over to an Android. Usually when you see somebody with an Android, it's very, very difficult to get them to switch over into an iPhone, right? And brand loyalty when it comes to gaming is even more fierce. That's not the strategy that Microsoft is implementing when it comes to buying Activision at all. Okay, let's continue. It says it's just not true that if we go off and build great games, let me blow that up for you. All of a sudden, you're going to see a console share shift in a dramatic way. We lost the worst generation to lose in Xbox One. Spencer also poured cold water on the hopes that the now defunct console's replacement, the current Xbox Series X, would chip away at the sales of the Sony PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch. He says, I know that will upset a ton of people, but it's just the truth no matter whether you're in third place in the console market or the top two players as strong as they are. When it entered the market in 2001 with the original Xbox, a lot of gamers expected that the deep pockets of Microsoft would help it crush gaming rival Sony and its PlayStation 2. But while Microsoft came close to eclipsing Sony with its second generation Xbox 360, it never succeeded in dethroning the Japanese competitor globally. Spencer is now pushing Microsoft to not focus on hardware, but software. For example, its monthly subscription service Game Pass. He is also bullish on new features to allow customers to buy one game and play it seamlessly across a variety of devices, from the Xbox to the PC to new handheld devices like the Steam Deck, outside of the Sony What? Wait a minute. What did that say? Outside of the Sony ecosystem? So you're telling me that their strategy is to pivot from trying to gain market share with regard to console wars to actually add you into the ecosystem? What? No. Not an actual executive over there saying that word for word. Not him using the exact same words that I just communicated to you a little while ago. He said this months ago. Interesting. No way. He didn't say that. He did not say that. That got to be a typo. Anyways, neither here nor there. I don't want to beat a dead horse. It's important. And again, I had dropped the link in the chat for him to be able to cam up, but all of a sudden they not able to cam up. Don't worry about it. Anyways, my point that I'm trying to make to you guys is that whenever you're trying to understand whether or not you want to invest in a company, you got to understand every aspect of that company. And I don't want y'all to just look at what somebody says online and say, oh man, I'm about to go invest in Microsoft. Or they say, go my Microsoft. Or Microsoft is a $2-3 trillion company. Don't do it. You have to understand every single aspect of that company and how they make money and what their long-term strategy is, right? Again, how Microsoft is leveraging their cloud infrastructure is going to be completely different than what Apple is doing versus what Amazon is doing, right? And so when you're having these conversations, you have to have them in full. It's not enough to just be a gamer. You also have to understand money. You have to understand a lot of different things, right? And you have to be informed as what's being communicated instead of just what you believe, because what you believe is just your truth. It's not the truth. All right? So listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me read a couple of super chats and then we'll get up out of here. Junior Hall says, when you coming to Indy? I'm always in Indy, big dog. I'm always in Indy, big dog. Y'all just don't be seeing me coming through. Are you saying, when am I going to do a meetup in Indy? That's a completely different conversation. We can talk about that. Shout out to you, Junior Hall. I appreciate you. Also, the Objective Hustler is in the building. Shout out to the Objective Hustler. Says, AD, we going to address Aretha notebook paper will. What happened with Aretha's notebook paper will? Hey, y'all got to give me some insight on that. Send that to me in my email. Shout out to Aretha. Shout out to the Objective Hustler. I appreciate you. Jay Reason says, he said Anton got to have a suit and tie on to talk about games and stocks. Shout out to Jay Reason. I appreciate you. Jadis is in the building. Says, why I became a bag chaser is because of you. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Demetrius Coleman is in the building. Shout out to Demetrius Coleman. Says, don't hit him with the chess lingo while they playing Connect 4, coach. Don't hit him with the chess lingo while they playing Connect 4, coach. Shout out to Demetrius Coleman. Pierre Land is in the building with the 10 ball. I appreciate you. Says, Microsoft took advantage and came out with a publisher worth billions in IPs to add to their booming cloud gaming services, including Game Pass. Sony knows they can't keep up anymore. Shout out to Pierre Land. I appreciate you, big dog. And then my dog Brock is in the building with the 5 ball. Says, Pastor Love offering the best morning show ever. Ever. Shout out to you. Listen, I love the fact that y'all push back and disagree with me. It makes for good conversation. You know me, I like to debate with my people. And have a good, hey, kid calls. No hard feelings, but you know what we do over here. We go in, big dog. When we passionate about something, we just go hard. But I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Y'all know what that is? Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm on your way out the door. Tap into the Patreon. Get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. And then make sure you share this with your family and friends because of what? We don't want to be rich by ourselves, y'all. We genuinely don't. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace. Live streaming tonight on the Anton Daniels channel. Live streaming tonight on the Anton Daniels channel. Make sure y'all tap in. Shout out to Patrick Hill. Says, Anton, God bless you. I appreciate you for the 2 ball, big dog.